Welcome to Velvet Night Vellum, where history drifts softly into sleep. Tonight, beneath this endless, gentle rain, we do not follow the thunder of far-off battles, nor the hurried voices on the radio. No, we simply sit, quietly, in the soft lamplight of an ordinary American home, somewhere in 1942, where a family waits, where supper cools slowly on the table, where the clock ticks with patient certainty, and the night deepens. The night deepens. This is not a story of heroes or headlines. This is the story of waiting rooms and ration books, of victory gardens damp with evening rain, of letters folded and refolded until the creases feel like silk, of mothers humming half-remembered lullabies while knitting endless scarves, of fathers staring at the same porch light every evening, of children falling asleep to the distant whistle of trains that carry strangers far away. There will be no sudden noises here, only the soft rustle of turning calendar pages, the faint scent of coffee kept warm too long, the cool touch of oilcloth on a kitchen table, the steady breathing of a nation learning how to be patient. If these velvet tales, these quiet chronicles of ordinary days, help you drift away, if the gentle rain and the slow tick of a baker-like clock ease your mind tonight, then subscribe, like, and join our quiet circle of night wanderers. We leave the lamp on, for you, always. And so, as the rain continues its patient whisper against the roof, as the night deepens, let us step together, very softly, into the dim hallways of a small American home, somewhere in the heart of 1942. It is evening, a cool autumn evening, the kind where the windows fog just a little from the warmth inside, where the radio has been turned low, so low that only the murmur remains, a comforting murmur, like a distant river. The father has not yet come home from the factory. His coat still hangs by the door, still holding the faint scent of machine oil and cold air. The mother moves quietly in the kitchen, her apron soft, worn cotton that has been washed 1,000 times. Her hands cool from shaping tomorrow's bread. The children, already in pyjamas that smell of sunlight soap, sit at the table colouring within the lines of old newspaper margins. And outside, the rain falls, softly, endlessly, washing the world clean, one drop at a time. This is where our story begins, not with the noise of the world, but with its silence, not with departure, but with waiting, not with war, but with the gentle endurance of those who remained. The night deepens, and everything slows. We are ready, whenever you are, to walk these quiet hallways, to feel the cool linoleum beneath bare feet, to breathe the faint scent of coal smoke and cinnamon, to listen, as the rain keeps its ancient promise, to carry us, gently, into sleep. And so, we find ourselves in the quiet seed of it all, in the years just before the great noise began, when America was still a land of porch swings creaking in the evening breeze, of screen doors sighing shut, of neighbourhoods where every kitchen window glowed the same soft yellow, and the night settled gently, like a quilt pulled up to the chin. This is the America of 1941, turning slowly into 1942, an America of small towns and smaller cities, where the drugstore soda fountain still served cherry phosphate for a nickel, where the picture show changed every Thursday, where fathers walked to work with lunch pails swinging, and mothers hung laundry on lines that smelled of fresh cut grass and sunlight. The war that distant storm, had already begun across the sea. But here it was still only a murmur on the radio, a collection of faraway names. Poland, France, England, names spoken in worried voices, then turned off with a click, so the children would not be frightened. The family we sit with tonight, they are not famous. They have no grand house, no name in the papers, just a narrow 2-story home on Maple Street, somewhere in the Midwest, or perhaps New England, or a quiet suburb of California. It hardly matters, because this home was every home, and every home was this one. There is the father, 37 years old, tall in the shoulders, hands rough from years at the tool and die shop, hands that still smell faintly of metal shavings and Wright's coal tar soap. There is the mother, 34, hair pinned back with tortoiseshell combs, moving through her days with the calm rhythm of someone who has always known how to stretch $1, to stretch a pound of butter, to stretch love until it covers everything. And there are the children, a boy of 11, a girl of 8, already learning the weight of new words, blackout curtains, air raid warden, scrap drive, words that taste strange on the tongue, like medicine. In these last quiet months, before Pearl Harbor became more than a place on a map, life still moved to older music. The icebox hummed its familiar song. The coal furnace clanked awake each morning. The grandfather clock in the hall cleared its throat every hour. And the rain, when it came only to water the victory gardens that had not yet been planted. The kitchen table, that sacred centre, was covered in oilcloth, printed with tiny red cherries, worn pale at the edges from years of elbows and homework and Sunday dinners. Here they gathered every evening, saying grace over meatloaf stretched with breadcrumbs, over potatoes mashed with milk that had been watered just a little, over canned peas that tasted of victory even before the word was spoken. After supper, the dishes were washed in water that smelled of Fell's naphtha. The towels were the same soft flour sack cotton they had always been. The father smoked his one Chesterfield of the day on the back step, watching the night sky for clouds, or for something else he could not yet name, while the mother darned socks by the light of a single bulb, her needle moving in and out, in and out, a quiet stitching together of days. And the radio, that wooden box with the golden dial, brought the world in careful doses. Glenn Miller, Kate Smith, a voice saying, "Buy defence bonds," then quickly turned down again, because there was still time, before the world grew loud. This was the seed, the quiet, ordinary seed, from which everything else would grow, or fade. These small rituals, these small rooms, these small acts of mending and making do, these were the roots that would hold when the wind came, night after night. The same cool sheets tucked under chins, the same bedtime stories read by lamplight, the same prayers that ended and bring Daddy home safe every day, even though Daddy was only at the factory. For now, the rain falls softly, on the roof above their heads, on the roofs of 1,000,000 homes just like this one, and the nation breathes, slowly, evenly, like someone on the edge of sleep, not yet knowing, not yet waking. The night holds its breath, because something silent has already begun to turn, something patient, something vast, the great engine of the American home front, an engine that runs not on gasoline, but on ordinary hands, ordinary hearts, ordinary evenings, just like this one. It is not built in Washington, nor in the shipyards of California, nor in the tank factories of Detroit. No, it is built here, in kitchens that smell of coffee and cinnamon, in bedrooms where alarm clocks tick toward the early shift, in living rooms where mothers sit alone with the radio turned low, listening for names they hope never to hear. This engine, this quiet, humming engine, is made of small, deliberate acts, repeated 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000 times, until the whole nation moves forward, without ever seeming to move at all. There are the ration books, neatly kept in the top drawer, their red and blue stamps cut out with careful scissors. Coffee rationed to £1 a month, sugar to £0.5 a week, butter saved in a covered dish, a dish that grows emptier and emptier, yet somehow still stretches. There are the victory gardens, ploughed in every spare patch of lawn, rows of tomatoes heavy with summer promise, carrots hidden under cool earth, beans climbing strings tied with saved twine, hands in the soil that smell of iron and rain, hands that know the taste of real dirt again. There are the scrap drives, children dragging wagons piled with old pots, rubber tyres, tin cans flattened smooth, even the foil from chewing gum wrappers saved and rolled into silver balls, balls that glint like tiny moons in the collection box. And there is the factory whistle, 3 miles away, calling men before dawn, calling them again at dusk, a sound that becomes part of the weather, part of the rhythm of breath. Rise, work, wait, sleep, rise again. The mother, she is the quietest part of the engine, yet she keeps it running. She trades recipes for meatless meals. She learns to make gravy without drippings, to make cake without eggs, to make do, and do, and do, until making do feels like prayer. She writes letters in the evening, letters on thin blue paper, letters that say everything by saying almost nothing. The children are fine. The garden is coming along. We saved the bacon grease again today. Letters perfumed with the faintest trace of evening in Paris. Because even in wartime, a woman wants to smell like herself. She hangs the service flag in the window. 1 blue star, then 2, then 3, as neighbours' sons leave one by one. The stars sewn with thread that never quite runs out, because hope is rationed too, but never completely. The father, when he comes home, brings the smell of the factory with him. Hot metal, cutting oil, sweat cooled by night air. He hangs his lunch pail on its same nail, washes his hands that will never quite lose the black under the nails, sits in his chair, lights his 1 cigarette, and listens to the rain, listens to the house settling, listens to the silence where laughter used to be louder. The children, they collect milkweed pods for life jackets. They knit squares for Afghans. They practice air raid drills under desks, heads tucked, hands over necks, then rise again, giggling nervously, because children always rise, always rise. And every night, the same small ceremonies, the same soft engine turning, dishes dried with the same faded towel, the same porch light left burning, the same prayer whispered over sleeping heads. Keep them safe, bring them home, let us be enough. This is the engine, the true engine, not of steel, but of waiting, not of thunder, but of patience, of ordinary evenings stretched thin, yet never breaking, of love measured in saved string, in patched knees, in quiet hands, folded in laps when the news is bad. It runs on the sound of rain against windows, on the smell of bread baking at midnight because the oven is cooler then, on the feel of flannel sheets warmed by a hot water bottle, on the weight of an unspoken letter in a pocket. It runs and runs and runs, so softly, that sometimes you can almost forget it is running at all. The night deepens, the night deepens, and the engine hums on, steady, steady. Like a lullaby no one needs to sing aloud. Everything waits, everything waits. But beneath the waiting, the quiet strength gathers, gathers, like water behind a dam no one can see, and the rain keeps falling, softly, softly, washing the world, one ordinary evening at a time. And so, very slowly, almost without anyone noticing, the days begin to rise. Rise like quiet bread dough under a mother's cloth set on the stove's pilot light. Warm, steady, certain. It happens in small, repeated ways. Ways so gentle they feel like breathing. The father's paycheck, once barely enough, now carries overtime hours, extra shifts, double shifts. His hands more tired, his shoulders a little broader, the smell of machine oil deeper in his shirts, but the envelope thicker, and the family breathes easier. Easier. The mother learns new patterns. Patterns from the government pamphlets. Patterns that use less wool, less cotton, less everything. Yet somehow, the sweaters still keep the children warm. The socks still reach the knee. The love still fits perfectly. The victory garden, that patch of turned earth behind the house, begins to give back. Tiny green tomatoes swelling under summer sun, beans hanging heavy on their strings, carrots hiding their orange secrets, and every harvest feels like a small victory, a quiet yes, against a world saying no. Letters begin to arrive, not the feared telegrams, but real letters, written in pencil on thin paper, from boys who once sat in the same school desks, boys who now write from places with strange names. North Africa, Guadalcanal, England. Letters that say, I'm okay, and everyone knows what okay really means. But it is enough. It is enough. The children grow an inch, then another. Their voices drop, or crack, or soften into new music. They learn to spot aircraft silhouettes on posters, to save bacon grease in a coffee tin, to roll bandages at the Red Cross on Saturdays. And still, they play marbles in the alley, still chase fireflies when dusk comes early, still believe their fathers can fix anything with a screwdriver and time. The neighbourhood itself rises, house by house, porch light by porch light. Women who once barely nodded, now share sugar, share patterns, share tears in each other's kitchens over cups of weak coffee, share the weight, until the weight lightens, just a little, when it is carried together. Savings bonds are bought, 10 cents, 25 cents, $1 at a time. Stamps pasted into little books, books that grow fat and satisfying, books that whisper promises. We will be ready, we will be ready. When they come home, the factory expands. New wings, new night shifts, women in slacks and bandanas, hair tucked safely away, hands that once only needed bread, now rivet wings onto bombers, weld hulls, shape destiny in aluminum and steel, and come home smelling of the future. And the radio, that same old wooden box, begins to play different songs, not just swing, but songs with steel in them. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, coming in on a wing and a prayer. Songs that make the mother pause at the ironing board, press a little harder, smile a little braver, #0, 6#, even the rationing that once felt like loss begins to feel like purpose. Meatless Tuesdays, wheatless Wednesdays become small offerings, small proofs of love sent across oceans. every saved spoonful of sugar, every victory margarine coloured with the little yellow capsule, every oleo brick kneaded until it looks like butter, becomes part of the ascent, part of the slow, collective rising. The children's scrap pile grows into a mountain. The mountain becomes a tank, or part of a ship, or a wing on a flying fortress. And they sleep better knowing their old wagon, their broken toys, their mother's discarded pots, now fly above the clouds, protecting someone else's father. The blue star banners in windows multiply, but so do the smiles, because every star is a reminder. We are doing something. We are part of something, something larger than supper tables and porch lights, yet built entirely from them. The ascent, happens in the smell of sheets dried on the line, even in cool weather, in the faint victory of a new dress made from feed sack cotton, in the soft click of knitting needles making helmet liners no one will ever see, in the warmth of a quilt pieced from old neckties, in the pride of a boy who brings home a report card with all A's, because we have to do our part too. It happens when the father comes home with his first full paycheck in months and quietly places a new pair of real leather shoes, real leather, on the table for the boy who has outgrown everything twice. It happens when the mother opens the oven and the smell of real coffee, fills the house because someone shared a coupon, and no one cries. But everyone's eyes shine a little. The years turn gently, like pages in a picture book, and the family rises with them, not louder, not richer in things, but richer in certainty, richer in quiet knowing that ordinary hands, ordinary evenings, ordinary love can move mountains, can win wars, can hold the world together, one careful stitch, one saved nickel, one shared tear, at a time. The night deepens, yet somehow, the light inside grows warmer, and the rain, the endless, gentle rain, keeps washing the rooftops, carrying away worry, drop by drop, while beneath those rooftops, beneath millions of ordinary rooftops, the quiet ascent continues, like dawn you cannot see, but can feel in your bones. And now, at the very height of all that quiet rising, everything settles into the golden, drowsy heart of ordinary days. There is no more climbing, only being, only the long, slow, delicious plateau where time stretches like taffy, where evenings feel endless, and the rain sings its oldest lullaby, softly, over rooftops, over victory gardens gone to seed, over a nation that has learned how to hold its breath and still keep breathing. Listen, just listen, to a summer evening in 1944, or perhaps it is 1943. The years have begun to blur together, like pages in a book left in the rain. Only the feeling remains, the feeling of full, of enough, of almost. The kitchen is warm from the oven that has baked 3 loaves today, warm from the bodies that move through it, warm from the low voices that never need to rise. The back door stands open to the screen, letting in the smell of cut grass, of petunias in coffee cans along the step, of distant lilac still clinging though the blooms are gone, of cool night air that feels like mercy on tired skin. Mother stands at the sink, sleeves rolled, hands in sudsy water that smells of Lux Flakes and lemon rind, washing the same plates, the same cups, the same forks, night after night. a rhythm older than memory. Rinse, stack, wipe, breathe. The father sits in his chair by the window, shirt unbuttoned at the collar, stocking feet on the ottoman, reading the same newspaper he read at noon, because the news does not change much anymore, only the weather. And the weather is perfect for waiting. The boy, now taller, sprawled on the rug with the Sears catalogue, dreaming over pages of bicycles and baseball gloves, prices circled in red crayon, prices that might be possible when the war is over, whenever that is. The girl, knees tucked under her nightgown, colours quietly with stubs of crayons saved from better days, humming something soft under her breath, a song from the radio, or perhaps just the rain. Supper tonight was macaroni with tomato sauce from the garden, corn cut from the cob and creamed, apple cobbler made with oleo and canned apples, because someone down the street shared, and sharing has become its own quiet currency. The dishes are nearly done. The towels hang smooth on the rack. The floor has been swept with the same broom that leans in the corner, worn soft at the bristles, soft as everything else in this house. Outside, the Victory Garden sleeps under the rain, tomatoes heavy on the vine, beans curling lazy around their poles, marigolds standing guard with their sharp, clean smell, keeping the bugs away, keeping the hope bright. Inside, the icebox hums its low song, a song of milk bottles clinking gently, of leftover cobbler under waxed paper, of butter saved in a blue bowl. Real butter this week, because a cousin on a farm sent a package, and no one spoke of it much, but everyone tasted it slow. The radio is off tonight, or almost off, only the faintest glow from the dial, like a nightlight for grown-ups. No need for voices from far away. The voices here are enough. The soft turn of a catalogue page, the click of a crochet hook, the creak of the father's chair as he shifts. The rain, always the rain, whispering secrets to the gutters. Mother dries her hands on the apron that smells of starch and supper, hangs it on its hook, turns the calendar page, though tomorrow is still far away, checks the back door lock twice, because habit is comfort, turns off the big light, leaves only the small one over the stove, the one with the pull chain that clicks like a heartbeat. The children are sent upstairs, feet soft on the worn carpet runner, teeth brushed with baking soda paste, pyjamas buttoned, prayers said kneeling by the bed. God bless Mommy and Daddy, and Jimmy, and Aunt Ruth, and Uncle Bud in the Pacific. And please let the war be over soon, and let there be real ice cream again. Amen. Tucked in, covers smoothed. One extra kiss on the forehead that smells of Pepsodent and summer. Door left open a hand's width, so the hall light can find them if they dream. Downstairs, the parents sit a little longer, not speaking much, because words have become precious. Saved for letters, or for mornings, they simply sit, hands touching across the oilcloth, listening to the house breathe, listening to the rain breathe, listening to each other breathe. The clock ticks, but softly now, as though it too is tired. The refrigerator motor shuts off with a sigh. The last firefly in the jar gives one more pulse, then rests. Everything is in its place. The ration books in the drawer, the service flag with its blue stars, the savings bond stamps almost filling the book, the letters tied with string, the photographs on the mantel, the porch light still burning for no one and for everyone. This is the zenith, the long golden centre where nothing dramatic happens, and everything important does, where love is measured in quiet evenings, in the weight of a father's hand on a sleeping child's back, in the smell of bread set to rise under a tea towel, in the soft click of the mother's knitting needles, counting rows instead of days. Here, in this gentle height, the war is only a low hum at the edge of hearing, a newspaper folded to hide the worst, a letter not yet answered, a name on the radio spoken too quickly to catch. Here, the world holds still, holds perfectly still, like the moment before sleep, when the body is heavy, the mind is light, and the rain keeps its promise, night after night, to carry everything downstream, softly, softly. The night deepens, and the house settles around them, like a blanket pulled up warm, like arms that never let go. Sleep comes easily here, in the zenith, comes in waves, gentle waves, carrying the scent of line-dried sheets, of talcum powder, of coffee cooling in a cup, of safety earned one quiet day at a time. Everything is enough, everything is held, everything drifts, toward morning, whenever morning decides to come. And the rain keeps falling, soft as forgiveness, over this one small house, and over every house like it, across a sleeping nation that has learned how to dream, together. And then, one evening, without warning, without drama, something changes. Not in the sky, not in the streets, but in the air itself, in the way the light falls through the kitchen window, in the way the radio announcer's voice catches, just slightly, on a word no one expected to hear so soon: peace. It does not arrive with fireworks, or parades, or even tears of joy in this house. It arrives the way dawn arrives, slowly, then all at once, yet somehow, still too sudden for hearts that have practiced waiting so long. The headlines come first. Japan. Surrender. The words swim on the page. The father reads them once, twice, then simply sets the paper down, hands resting flat on the oilcloth, palms open, as though receiving something too large to hold. The mother stands at the stove, wooden spoon still in hand, staring at nothing, a small sound escaping her throat. Not quite a sob, not quite laughter, something in between, something the body makes when it no longer has to be brave. The children, home from school early, burst through the screen door, shouting the news everyone already knows, then fall suddenly quiet, because the adults are quiet, and quiet has its own weight. No one moves to turn on the radio. No one needs to. The world is suddenly too loud without it. In the days that follow, the shift is felt in small, almost invisible ways. The factory whistle, that faithful heartbeat 3 miles away, does not blow one morning, then the next, then never again at 3 a.m. The silence it leaves behind is enormous, a silence that fills the house like furniture. Men come home from work with their lunch pails still full, because the line has stopped, because the war is over, because there is nothing left to build. The father stands in the backyard, looking at the victory garden gone wild with weeds, the tomatoes split and rotting on the vine, and feels something he cannot name, relief, and something like grief, mixed together, like salt and sugar in the same bowl. The mother opens the ration books, turns the pages slowly, sees all the unused stamps, the coffee stamps, the sugar stamps, the shoe stamps, and closes the drawer without a word, because some habits die harder than wars. Letters stop coming, not because the boys have stopped writing, but because the boys are coming home, or not coming home, and either way, the waiting is over. The neighbourhood grows strangely quiet. No more women gathering on porches to share patterns. No more children dragging scrap wagons. No more shared tears over weak coffee. Everyone retreats. gently, into their own houses, to discover what is left when the great purpose fades. The father sits longer in his chair, staring at hands that suddenly have nothing to build. The mother stands at the sink, washing dishes that no longer need to stretch. The children listen to the new silence, and find it heavier than sirens ever were. Even the rain changes, falls the same, sounds the same, but feels different, as though it is washing something away, that no one is ready to let go. The great shift is not joy, nor sorrow, but the long exhale, after holding breath for 4 years, an exhale that leaves the lungs strangely empty, the body strangely light, the heart strangely unsure where to live now. Blue stars turn gold in some windows. In others they simply come down, folded neatly, placed in drawers, never spoken of again. The porch light, that faithful beacon, is turned off one night, and no one remembers to turn it back on. The night deepens, but now the darkness feels different, less like shelter, more like a question no one knows how to ask. And outside, the rain keeps falling, softly, over a nation that has won everything, and suddenly wonders what victory is supposed to feel like when you are too tired to celebrate. The victory that everyone waited for arrives like a guest who leaves the house quieter than when he came. No one quite knows what to do with the silence. The decline begins in the true, smallest places. Places so small they feel like nothing at all, until one day they feel like everything. The father comes home earlier and earlier, until one afternoon he simply does not go in. His lunch pail stays on the hook, gathering the faintest film of dust. His good shirt stays pressed in the closet, and the factory 3 miles away, that once shook the windows at dawn, stands empty now. Windows broken by boys with stones, grass growing through the loading dock, a place already becoming a rumour. He sits on the porch steps most evenings, watching cars he does not recognise drive past. Cars with tail fins, cars with chrome that hurts the eyes, cars that belonged to a world that kept moving while he was standing still. His hands, those strong, oil-stained hands, rest on his knees, open, empty, as though waiting for a tool that will never be handed to him again. The mother opens the cupboards, finds them fuller than they have been in years. Real butter, real sugar, real coffee in blue cans, and feels something close to guilt. Because plenty tastes strange after scarcity, she cooks smaller suppers, then smaller still, because appetites have changed, or perhaps hearts have shrunk a little, from carrying so much for so long. The children, now young adults almost, leave the house earlier in the morning, come home later at night, or not at all. Their footsteps on the stairs grow less frequent. Their voices move down the street, around the corner, into lives that no longer fit inside these walls. The bedrooms upstairs stay made, too neatly made, with chenille spreads pulled tight, and closets holding clothes that will never quite fit again. The Victory Garden returns to lawn, slowly, stubbornly, dandelions first, then crabgrass, then just grass. The beam poles rot in a corner of the garage. The tomato stakes lean like tired soldiers, and no one has the heart to pull them out. The radio plays new music now. Music with electric guitars, with words no one quite understands, and the parents listen from the kitchen, smiling politely, as though at a foreign language. They turn it down low, then off, preferring the older silence, the one that knew their names. Neighbours move away, one by one, to new suburbs with picture windows. with television sets, with washing machines that do not need to be fed clothes by hand. The moving trucks come and go, leaving empty houses. Then, new families, who wave politely but do not borrow sugar, do not sit on porches, do not know what a Blue Star banner means. The father tries odd jobs, fixing radios, mowing lawns, pumping gas at the new station on the highway, comes home smelling of different things now, not purpose, but gasoline and something like apology. The mother takes in ironing, then stops, because no one seems to iron anymore. She dusts photographs of children who no longer live here, waters plants that refuse to die, writes fewer letters, because everyone is too busy living to write. Money is there, more than ever, but it buys things that do not fit the house. A television that flickers blue in the evenings, a refrigerator that hums too loudly, a car in the drive that starts with a button instead of a crank. Things arrive, and gratitude leaves, quietly, through the back door. The parents speak less, not from anger, but from having already said everything that mattered. During nights when words were rationed too, they sit together on the porch swing that no longer creaks the same way, watching fireflies that belong to someone else's children now, listening to a quiet that has no whistle to break it, no air raid siren to fear, no victory to wait for. The house itself begins to sigh. Wallpaper fades in the sun that now reaches places it never used to. The furnace clanks but no longer warms the same. The pipes knock like old bones. The roof grows moss in the shaded corners, and no one climbs up to sweep it away. The night deepens. The night deepens. But now the darkness feels less like shelter, more like a room that has been left too long with the lights off. Years drift by, like unread newspapers yellowing on the porch, like calendars with no marks at all, like seasons that arrive and leave without asking permission. The father's chair stays empty more often, until one day it simply stays empty. The mother keeps the porch light burning a little longer, then not at all, and the rain, when it comes, falls on a quieter roof, on fewer cars in the drive, on a lawn that belongs to no one in particular. The long, sombre decline. The long, sombre decline is made of small goodbyes no one announces, of supper tables set for two, then one, of footsteps that never quite return, of a house that remembers being full, and slowly, learns how to be hollow, without ever falling down. Everything settles, like dust on a windowsill no one dusts anymore, like snow that no child runs out to catch on the tongue, like the faint scent of cinnamon and coal smoke that lingers in the walls, long after the stove has gone cold, and the rain keeps falling, softly, over a home that once held a nation together, and now simply holds memories, too heavy to move, too light to keep anyone awake. Yet something remains. It does not shout, it does not demand, it simply lingers, the way the faint scent of cinnamon lingers in a drawer long after the spice is gone, the way the shape of a hand stays in an old glove, the way certain silences still carry voices. The house on Maple Street still stands, or one very much like it, perhaps with aluminum siding now, perhaps with a satellite dish on the roof, but the bones are the same: the narrow hallway, the kitchen window over the sink, the back steps where a father once sat watching a world he no longer recognized. New families live here now, or try to. They paint the walls bright colors, knock out walls, install central air, but late at night, when the television is off, when the children are asleep, they sometimes pause and feel it. A hush that is not quite empty, a warmth that does not come from the furnace, the faint, almost a memory of waiting. In attics and basements across the country, the tangible things wait patiently. A Blue Star banner folded in tissue, a ration book with stamps still perfect, a child's gas mask box repurposed as a lunch pail, a savings bond booklet finally filled, a V-mail letter so thin it feels like onion skin, a Victory Garden hoe with the handle worn smooth by hands that are now only bone. They surface sometimes. When a granddaughter cleans out a closet, when an estate sale scatters a life into strangers' arms, when a museum cases ask for ordinary artifacts of the home front, and people bring them, quietly, because these things are not junk, they are relics. Small stones from a cathedral no one remembers building. The recipes remain, in handwriting that loops and leans. Depression cake, Woolton pie without the Woolton, mock apple pie made of Ritz crackers, written in margins of cookbooks, passed hand to hand, until someone finally types them into a blog, and a young mother halfway across the world bakes one, and tastes something she cannot name. The songs drift out of old radios, restored by hobbyists. Sentimental journey, I'll be seeing you, White Cliffs of Dover, played at low volume in kitchens that look nothing like the old kitchens, yet feel the same when the singer reaches the line about lights of home. The photographs, sepia and black and white, sit in shoeboxes or scanned into clouds. A father in uniform, too big for his shoulders. A mother smiling with victory rolls in her hair. Children waving tiny flags. And every viewer, even those born decades later, feels the same small catch in the throat, because the waiting is still there, in the eyes. The stories, told softer now, at Thanksgiving tables, in nursing home solariums, in letters never sent, begin with, "We didn't have much, but," and end with a pause that says everything. The habits linger. A grandmother who still rinses and reuses foil, a grandfather who saves string in a drawer, a mother who turns off lights in empty rooms, a father who can fix anything with baling wire and hope. Small magics learned when there was nothing else. Even the language carries the echo. Make do and mend. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Phrases that slip into modern mouths. When money is tight, when storms come, when the world tilts again, and suddenly feel like home. The blue stars, turned gold for some, turned into quilts, into memory bears, into shadows on walls where banners once hung, but never forgotten, never quite. And on certain rainy evenings, when the light is the colour of old pearls, when the house creaks in the same places, when a clock ticks that no one wound, someone, somewhere, pauses at a window, looks out at wet streets that look exactly the same, and feels, for just a moment, the faint pressure of a hand on a shoulder, the ghost of a victory garden under snow, the whisper of a nation that once breathed together, in and out, through 4 long years of nights. The echo, is not loud. It is the soft brush of oilcloth under elbows, the faint smell of coffee kept warm too long, the cool touch of a porch rail in summer dusk, the sound of rain on a roof that remembers. It lives in the pause before sleep, when the mind drifts backward, not to battles, but to kitchens, to waiting, to ordinary love that held everything together, when there was nothing else to hold. And sometimes, very late, when the new family in the old house turns off the last light, the rooms remember and settle, just a little, like someone turning over in sleep, smiling at a dream they will not recall in the morning. The night deepens, but the echo remains, soft as breath on a windowpane, warm as a quilt pieced from scraps, patient as rain, that still falls, softly, softly, over everything that was saved, and everything that was lost, and everything that was quietly, bravely, enough. And now, at the end of all our quiet wandering, there is only this, the rain, falling, falling, as it has always fallen, over that small house, and over every house like it, over the years that have slipped away, over the hands that once waited, over the hearts that once held a nation together, with nothing but love and patience, and the soft click of knitting needles in the dark. Nothing more needs to be said, nothing more needs to be remembered tonight. The rooms are empty now, or perhaps full, of the gentlest kind of ghosts. Ghosts that do not frighten, only tuck you in. The porch light no longer burns, but the warmth it once promised still lingers. Somewhere in the walls, somewhere in the rain, somewhere in you. The echo has done its work. It has carried you here, to this far, this deep, into the velvet night. And so, let everything go. Let the ration books close. Let the blue stars fade. Let the victory garden return to earth. Let the factory whistle fall silent forever. Let the children grow and leave and carry the waiting with them in ways they will never fully understand. Let the father rest his hands. Let the mother rest her heart. Let the house settle, one last time, into the soft arms of sleep. The night deepens, the night deepens, and everything is finally home. If these velvet tales, these quiet, ordinary echoes, have helped you drift even a little farther tonight, if the rain has washed some small weight away, then subscribe, if you wish, like, if you wish, and join our circle of night wanderers. We leave the lamp on, always, for you, but for now, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to hold, nothing left to wait for, only this rain, this endless, gentle rain, falling softly, softly, over a nation that once dreamed together, and now dreams alone, and yet, still together, in the deep, quiet places, where memory keeps. Good night, good night, the velvet night awaits. Sleep now, sleep, and let the rain carry you, all the way, home.